appreciated. I am Chrissy. I am the owner of Himalayan Hideaway Salt Cave. I have been open for just over 2 years now. This was a vision that came to me after my own illness, and salt therapy was very helpful for me in feeling better. But one of the things that struck me when I created my space is that, as previously a caregiver, before my mom passed away, that this could be a very good place of respite for other caregivers, for them to have not only, you know, some time away, but it's also rejuvenating, very healing, immune boosting, and all those kinds of things. And so, you know, people are always looking for the magic, you know, pill or anything to lose weight or exercise. And, you know, it's pretty amazing to get 45 minutes where you can pack it in and think, oh my gosh, I've restored my soul, I've restored my energy, and things like that. So it's not a you know, a magic pill. This has been done for centuries in Europe. It was covered by health insurance there. Actually, if you were to go to a European hospital and have surgery, you'd probably be put in a salt room for your recovery time. No infection can grow there. In the United States, we're just going to give you an antibiotic for the infection you haven't even gotten yet. So what we do things a lot differently here, but I'm hoping that as people look for more holistic options, that this is going to be something that they're going to look toward for helping themselves mentally and physically. So do you want me to go ahead and start with the tour portion, or
yeah, so, why don't we move forward?
Okay, so when folks come in, and again, this is going to be a little bit wonky to walk around with the computer, but I have this huge map behind my desk, and you will see it says, "You are here." And that's pointing right at the Himalayan mountains, right at Nepal, because when you come in, I really want you to feel like you've come on vacation, so that when you come into the space, that you can see basically a lot of color, a lot of culture, a lot of feeling to make you feel like, hey, this doesn't feel like I'm not in Kansas anymore, you know, so that you can see and feel the difference of the entrance as soon as you come in. So, but behind that beautiful red door is where the actual cave is. And so people come in, they put their electronics away. There's no electronics allowed. So we put all phones, keys, purses, Fitbits, smartwatches, all those things, because electronics and salt are not friends. But we also want you to have a break. And for caregivers, if they would like for me to hold on to their phone, if they're worried about an emergency call, that's an option too. If they want to release that to me to say, hey, if you see this number come up, can you please answer it? Because then I'd be able to interrupt the session if there was an emergency that they were worried about. So most of the time that's, you know, that's not happened, but most of the time people have taken somebody to relieve them for their caregiving, so they have somebody else watching, so they're not as worried. But on occasion there's times where they're just getting their escape, and so they just want to make sure that they can be connected. So so in here now, lighting is going to be a little bit dark and odd because this is how it comes in. So as you come into the cave, you'll see that there's a lot of light behind these salt bricks. That's all salt. That is Himalayan salt on the walls, Himalayan salt all over the floors. And then you can see it kind of coats all around the walls. The salt is all hand mined from the Himalayan mountains. They don't use machinery to get it out. So it stays very clean and organic. So it's not been exposed to chemicals or diesel fuels. And so it is very, very pure. From the moment you step into this room, you can take a deep breath and you can feel that the air is different in here. So as you breathe in all this salt, you get the understanding that it's all antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral, and then here we like to say anti-stress. So we have all the good antis in the cave. So, so basically with this saturation of salt, with it on the walls and on the floor, really no infection can grow in here. But what does the active work for you is back here in the center panel, you see there's a hole in the wall. And out of that hole in the wall, on the other side, we have a salt generator. And the salt generator actually takes a pharmaceutical grade salt, grinds it up microfine, and pumps it into the room the entire time. So while you're in here and maybe you're relaxing in a zero gravity chair, maybe you're laying over on a blanket on the floor, maybe you've got a little spot on the chair pad, the floor pad, you're relaxing, you're kicked back, maybe you're napping, maybe you're meditating, maybe you're just taking a break from life, you know, looking up at the starry nights and they're shining and glistening as you kick back. And we bring down the lights, the music plays, and for 45 minutes, you just get to take a little journey away. And during that time, as I said, the salt pumps into the room. So when the salt pumps into the room, you automatically start breathing it in. And as you breathe it in, it breaks down toxins, bacteria, and mucus from your system. So it's great for allergies. When people have seasonal allergies and get so congested, it breaks down the mucus. But it also clears away anything that you've got in your respiratory system. This is really beneficial for people who have COPD, asthma, bronchitis, getting over pneumonia. Before there was this one virus that anyone thinks of, we still had other things that we had to get well from. So we're still gonna encounter a sinus infection. We're still gonna encounter a cold. And this is very beneficial for clearing out your respiratory system. And as it does that, by doing that, and your blood is oxygenating and making you stronger, then it also helps to boost your immune system. When you boost your immune system, you can stave off other infection much easier. And so that, you know, as everyone is concerned about with whenever they go anywhere, what they might encounter, because we can't see any of it. It's all, you know, this mystery. And so the stronger we are on the inside, the better we are to fight the things that we can't tell. So again, this session is 45 minutes long. We've got the Mount Everest in the background, so you can really feel like you've taken a little trip. You could see some of the kind of hiking equipment over there, and, you know, for those who have traveled, you know, down the mountain, we kind of have a little bit of some of the detail to make you feel like you've gone, you know, to base camp. So when your session is over, we slowly bring the lights back up, and then I come and open the door, and then we have a tea room in the back, because stepping right outside after you've been in the cave is really jarring. It's not fair. People say, I don't want to go back to real life again. So we let you come back here and keep adding to your relaxation. So as you see back here, we have sorry, I'm walking backwards and hoping I don't run into anything. A tea room. And so we've got some cozy couches. You see there's nice places to sit. We have warm foot domes. These domes that you see on the floor are actually solid pieces of salt. They are great for reducing any pain or swelling in your feet. They will pull out toxins from your body. They will improve circulation in your legs. And they all around feel pretty awesome because, I mean, it's warm feet. So, so it's, they're really, that's one of the, sometimes when people come back to the tea room, this is where they say, well, I'm so relaxed, I don't want to leave. And sometimes if they've done this before the cave, I was like, we didn't even get to the relaxation part yet. So we kind of, like I said, give you the full experience. And with the fact that we had just had you breathe in all the salt inside the cave, by doing the foot domes, it's almost like we got you from top to bottom. So we kind of get you significantly seasoned. And by doing all that salt, you really have an opportunity to have better breathing, better sleep, more energy. Sometimes people have different aches and pains in their body that will go away for a while, because the salt is also a natural anti-inflammatory. So when you breathe it in, it finds those inflamed cells in your body and naturally dehydrates them. So if you've got arthritis or maybe pain from an old injury, sometimes our weather will do it to us. Or at my age, I tell people, I was like, sometimes you just wake up hurting. We don't even know why. And kids look at me like, that doesn't happen. I go, you'll get there. And so basically, you know, the salt, like I said, it finds those inflamed cells, naturally dehydrates them so that you can move a little better. It'll also rejuvenate your skin cells. So when you go through being in the cave for that 45 minutes, it's about equivalent to 3 days at the beach. And so when you've gone to the beach, you know that you breathe better, you move better, your body feels better. But it's not just because you're on vacation, you really can have the benefits of the salt. So while the salt that's pumped in here is a dry aerosol, and the salt that you have that comes from the ocean is moist, it still has really big benefits for you. So I'm trying to walk through this way. So as I was saying, it's a natural anti-inflammatory. It's fabulous for cleaning out your respiratory system, rejuvenates your skin cells. So people with rosacea or psoriasis, eczema greatly benefit from the salt cave too. Also, you know, just even regular acne, you know, just like I said, when you go to the beach and you know how much your cuts heal and things do well from the salt, you're able to have those benefits from the cave too. So does anybody have any questions?
How did you learn to walk backwards so well?
I was really afraid that something was going to go down bad.
The air system in the cave itself, I'm assuming, and I have no idea, I'm curious too, is it a self-contained room so that the air is recycled within the room, or is it freshened air from the system you have, or what? Can you explain that?
That's a very good question, especially now because people are concerned about, you know, recycled air. So what we do is I had to have a very special HVAC system put in. So when we start a session, I close the damper to the HVAC system. So it pumps all that salt air in. And then after the session, I have an exhaust system that pulls all that out. And then we pump fresh in. And so that way it also can hopefully save my HVAC system by having a damper that closes when we pump in. But when I open it up, then we can make sure the air stays nice and cool and regulated. And then we exhaust all that excess air out and then pump fresh in.
What temperature year round? I guess it's going to be the same. What temperature is the room at?
Yeah, the room is about 72 degrees. Keeping the room temperature is very critical for saving the salt, mostly, especially for the humidity level. The humidity is what we really need to control, because since salt pulls in excess moisture, if I don't, the whole cave will melt. So it will actually take on water. If you've seen like salt shakers in a restaurant when they have rice in there, that's to keep it from clumping. And, you know, so if I actually had in probably my second month after I opened, I came in one day on a 90% humidity day and my air conditioner had broken. The temperature was only 75 in here, but the 90% humidity, as soon as I could feel it, I was so afraid to open the door, and the entire cave was melting. It was literally dripping all
Oozy.
on the walls. It was, and then I went to the back, all the foot domes were pouring with water. Every little kernel of that salt that you saw on the floor, there's usually little bits of it on the floor. One kernel would have this much water around it from pulling in the excess moisture. So that was when I really learned how beneficial the salt lamps were for keeping the air pure in your home. So they're not just pretty. If it's actually a real salt lamp, it helps to pull in your cough, your speaking, your sneezing droplets, and it's gonna gravitate directly to the salt. So, and that's why when we do a session, I'm not concerned about people getting sick, because we pump in the salt, it wicks away the moisture just as fast as it's in there. So it's pretty powerful stuff for something that has been here all our lives.
Well, I'm going to come see you, and I might have the problem your other clients have. I might not want to leave.
Right. That's okay. We invite people to kick back and relax and enjoy. And then typically we would have tea from Nepal. The tea room, was supposed to also make you feel like you're on vacation, because if you went to Nepal, if you went to someone's house, they would greet you by asking if you would like some tea. So we serve tea from Nepal, but during this beginning portion of COVID stuff, I'm only having bottled water that people can get themselves, or American tea bags, because all the Nepalese tea that I serve is loose leaf, and I'm trying to have less contact and less, stuff with that, just to be safe. So, but it is nice because you can have some tea that you're not going to get at a coffee shop or buy at the grocery store, and so you can really feel immersed in your little vacation and try something completely new. But even without the tea, it's still relaxing.
It'd be nice to have a room like that in my house.
Everyone says that. I have a lot of people when they go into the salt room, and I said, while we think that's a good idea, I think that we really can't take our mind off of what is on the other side if it's at home, right? Because I know when I'm here, I'm still at work. So I'm thinking about all the things that need to be done on the other side. If I was at home, I'd probably be going, I really should take care of that laundry or those dishes or something, and feeling like there's still a pull. But in here, you can open the door. You can't, you can if there's an emergency, don't get me wrong, but you're in there, your phones are away, nobody is bothering you for that 45 minutes. It's all on your own. So, and when I have people who say, oh, what am I supposed to do for 45 minutes? I'm like, how about nothing? Try that. That's really the best.
Honestly.
So, and difficult to do. It's difficult to take our minds to a place that we can calm down. And I've had several customers who it took a while for them to learn how to relax. I know one of my caregiver customers, the first time she ever came, she said she sat on the edge of the seat just waiting for it to be over the whole time. She just had such a tough time letting go. Now, since her husband has passed, she still comes and she'll practically be asleep before I get the door closed. So it's a whole different experience. You just have to learn to, figure out your breathing and do whatever's necessary. She said, I started out by just telling myself, just try 10 breaths. That's all. Just try the 10 breaths. And but literally, the initial, oh my gosh, I should be at my husband's side, or I should be, running and doing errands is very difficult to feel like you're allowing yourself. But one of the things I appreciate so much about the Shepherd Center and the caregiver, options, and I went through the class of, powerful tools for caregivers. One of the things that I find exceptional is the people who are looking to do something to make themselves better for the people they're caring for. it's a really hard thing because we can sit there and say, I don't have time, but you're doing so much better for yourself to be able to do for them. And, you know, so that's something that I really appreciate when somebody makes the effort to say, I'm going to do something that's going to keep me going, or that's going to give me the knowledge, or that's going to give me the help. So
Yes, it benefits their loved ones, doesn't it, in the long run?
It's hard to think that way because you think, no, I can't have additional time taken away from me, away from the loved one. But I found the Powerful Tools for Caregivers class very, very helpful.
That's wonderful. Well, we had somebody else join us. Joan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Did you say Joan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just joined, and I didn't hear what you asked me.
Oh, I just said, would you like to introduce yourself to the rest of the, we saw you briefly.
Oh, yes, and then I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to be seen. I'm sitting here in my car. I just joined you by chance, I remembered. So, yes, I was a caregiver for many years. Well, I shouldn't say many, maybe 2 or 3 years. And I was lucky and had long-term care, so I had folks to help me. And I went to the class, the Stick Center class. And I really enjoyed, you know, meeting the people, and they teach you how to look after yourself. I mean, teach you to understand that it's so important to look after yourself. And this SALT is very interesting to me. I was thinking I need to make an appointment with myself to go down and try that out, to sit in the chair and relax. And it's so difficult not to do anything for 45 minutes when you've been a caregiver.
Well, we'll send you a coupon so that you can do just that.
Oh, great. Thank you very much.
Both
Yeah,
you
it's a nice gift to me. That's a very nice gift. Thank you.
It's a shame we can't be doing this meeting in person, isn't it, Chrissy?
Yeah, because as much as I, you know, love to be able to show people, it's nothing compared to what it looks like in real life. And,
oh, yeah.
You know, I used to joke that my favorite word used to be clearance, because I was, you know, for shopping, and I was always looking for a bargain. But now when I open the door and people are just blown away and they go, oh my gosh, you know, they had no idea what was on the other side of that. Because, and I actually had a lady thought that she was going to go sit in a room full of table salt. So she had no idea. And I don't know what that was going to look like. But she was very angry when she first got here, and her daughter had brought her, and I said, why are you so upset? She goes, I don't understand the purpose of this. I don't understand what we're doing. Why would I go sit in a room full of salt? And then when I opened the door, she was just knocked over. And she's like, oh, this wasn't what I was thinking. So it is very difficult for people who have never been to a salt cave to understand like what they're going to see. And they are all different. Some are very clinical looking, you know, some are very industrial. Everyone's design was different. My design, again, was to make people feel like they're going on vacation, because if I needed to have a treatment, I didn't want to think about being sick. I didn't want to think about, you know, that I was there for, you know, this length of time because I had to be. I want to just be able to let my mind go. And I feel like caregivers and everyone really needs that right now, that you can go into this COVID-free zone and just let all that stuff go. I mean, you know, whether it's a good nap that you get or just a mental break, the physical, you know, changes help, but so do the mental detox with, you know, putting your stuff away, that you're not having screen time for 45 minutes. And, you know, that alone can be restorative for yourself. So.
Can I ask you this? How many people do you allow in the room at the same time currently with COVID and everything? Is it one at a time or?
No, now it's 4. So that allows for the distancing. We used to allow 8. And even 4 is still pretty generous. It's a 16 by 20 room. So everybody's spaced out pretty well. And I disinfect in between the sessions with a hospital grade EPA approved sanitizer. Even though personally, I still believe the salt does what it's supposed to do. I'll do everything necessary to make sure we're taking extra precautions. And so we do that. We have blankets available that are one-time use if somebody's chilly when they want to go in there and relax or just take a nap and get cozy. You know, a lot of times when we relax, our body temperature drops, so we're going to get chilly. So a lot of times people come in and it might be 90 degrees outside and they're like, no, I'm fine. I go, well, once you lay down, it might change a little bit. So, you know, then there's a difference. I mean, that's why we have blankets on our beds and stuff like that. It's, you know, it doesn't matter what temperature it is outside, but once we're relaxed, you know, we might get a little cool. So, but it does stay a nice even temperature in there. And even if there's multiple people in there, that salt stays nice and cool. It is, if you touch it, it's no matter how warm it is, it still stays this, it does feel cave-like, you know, so kind of clammy almost, but.
Do you spread bags of rice around to keep the moisture out of the air?
No, now I have dehumidifiers. Definitely now is so that was a quick purchase after the other time. So now I have dehumidifiers that run in the front and in the back, and then I also have, you know, various places with those like damp rid containers and things like that to be able to help to get the excess moisture, because after that gut punch day, I was definitely not going to go through that again. And, you know, you know, it was almost equivalent to feeling like watching your house burn down or something, because there's nothing I could do to stop it. And I just saw it just disintegrating in front of me. So it was very upsetting. And then when I got over it, several days later, I called my insurance guy. I go, I forgot to ask, is this covered? Because, you know, when I'm setting up a business and there's lots of things I didn't think of, I'm sure. And, you know, so I wanted to make sure that was on the list. So.
Yeah, I would think it would be covered.
Yeah, it was. He said he goes, why didn't you call me immediately? I said, I was panicked. I didn't even know what to do. I stepped outside and there's a Subway by me and the girl asked me how I was doing. And I just started crying. I was like, my whole place is coming down. And when I called the HVAC people, I think they thought I was a diva because I just was like, everything's melting, you know, but it was not like, oh, you know, I was like, really, everything is melting, you know, but they just thought, oh, she's just hot. So
you know, you lived in a salt cave.
Right.
They thought you were from the Wizard of Oz. You got a little bit of water sprinkled on you and you started to melt.
That's right.
Did you have to import your salt from the Himalayas?
I did. And so all the stuff that if it comes from the Himalayan mountains, all comes from Pakistan. So if you're looking to get a salt lamp, make sure that it references Pakistan on the label, because just because the Himalayas are near India and China, if you see made in China or made in India, it's not true Himalayan salt. There's going to be a lot of knockoffs and reproductions, because as you know, like, remember when all natural and organic first came out, everyone wanted to put it on their label because they heard it was so good. Well, now we have to have a stamp that says USDA organic, because there was a lot of lies and people coming out and not doing the right thing. I don't think we're ever going to have a stamp that says true Himalayan salt, but, you know, if you know what to look for, at least you're going to get the right thing, because, you know, someone will tell me, oh, I got my salt lamp at 5 and below. And I was like, I doubt you got a hand mine lamp out at 5 and below, but okay. So, and, you know, and while it might be pretty, it might not be effective for the stuff, you know, that it's going to do. But I actually ordered my floor salt before I had a location chosen. That's how long it took to get here. Wow. It was on a small container ship from Pakistan. So yes, it took a while, but it's worth it. It's so beautiful. It's millions of years old. I feel like it's such an amazing place for people to come and see it, because they get to be around something that, you know, it's like part of the earth that they would never just get a chance to be surrounded by, you know. It's not pieces of plastic that are painted pretty.
Do you have to replace the salt in any certain time frame, or? once you have it, you have it.
So the floor salt, I will probably replenish it because it eventually break down from people walking on it. And unfortunately, because of that day where the air conditioner broke, some of it had turned to almost sand on the bottom. It had already disintegrated on the bottom. But right now, I mean, it's still fine. I just still kind of rake it up and stuff. But eventually it breaks down and I'll add to it. But other than that, like the salt on the walls, unless I have some catastrophe, is going to be good to go. Same thing with people's salt lamps. The only time it's really going to noticeably do anything different or change is if they're in a high humidity environment. And then they'll start seeing it weep, is what we call it. So.
Interesting.
So where are you located? I didn't get that at the beginning.
I am located off of Robin Hood Road at 3281 Robin Hood Road. I'm right beside the Fresh Market in a little strip where Five Guys and Subway is. So,
okay. Yeah.
Yep. So I am located right in there.
All right, great.
And we're open Wednesdays through Sundays.
Wednesday through Sunday, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good.
I have to bring my wife down there. I think that sounds like fun. Like a nice relaxing day anyway.
It really is. I had several people in the last week who have come for their anniversaries, and that was really nice. They're like, oh, we didn't know what to do, and we were looking for stuff. This is our 5th anniversary, our 9th anniversary, or, you know, had some people come for first dates, or, you know, I'm taking my new daughter-in-law out, or, you know, stuff like that. It's a really fun, but it's, you know, like I said, it's good for you also, but it's a unique thing to do. And, you know, you get the relaxation time, but then you also get the time to connect in the back. And, you know, some of the neatest parts I had before COVID happened is that when I have complete strangers that were in the cave go back to the tea room afterwards, and they weren't on their social media or in their media devices, and they would be leaving and making connections with new people because they just sat and had time to listen and talk and not be interrupted. And so I have a sign back there that says hang up and hang out. And, you know, I would have people, I have a, you know, there was a country white chicken farmer who was there with 2 African-American gospel singers from a church. And when they left, they were making plans to have lunch together. I mean, it was just like that kind of stuff just made my heart like pop to say, oh my gosh, this is where everyone's stepping away from what's happening in the world and just saying, let's look at what's in front of us and say, and make this connection to be real. So it's,
wow, that's worth its weight in gold.
it is, it's huge. Those kind of days are, you know, there's a lot of days where I'm so thankful that I opened this business when somebody says, you know what, and actually just this weekend, I had a lady who said, I want to tell you, the last time I came here, she says, I didn't have to use my inhaler for 3 weeks. She said, I usually use it every day. And so, you know, when somebody can have relief from, you know, an ache or a pain or you know, or an issue mentally or physically, if they get that break, I mean, then I know that it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
So now I have to ask the hours. You said Wednesday through Sunday. What time do you open? And
so we do sessions at the top of the hour. We are typically have been open from 11 to 5, but before COVID, I did appointments from 10 to 6. And so that's still an option as long as you book ahead of time and I'm available for it. On Sunday, the sessions run from 12 to 3, 12, 1, 2, and 3. So I close at 4 on Sunday. You know, we used to just do walk-ins. I would be here all day. But now, so that I can regulate the number of people that come through, it's by appointment only. So just you need to call and let us know that you're coming so that I can make sure that we stay within the regulations of traffic. So.
Okay. Good to know.
And my website is Winston-Salem saltcave.com if you want to look at anything on there.
Oh, that would be good, yeah. Because I have a friend that's a caregiver right now. She's in the midst of it. I've been there, and I know how important it is to have support afterwards as well as during. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Chrissy, is this a franchise thing or is it your separate, wholly owned business?
No, this is just me. I had looked into franchises, but I didn't know that they would give me the freedom to do what I wanted. A lot of them had a different look and a different feel, and I was just thought, well, no, I kind of, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go big or go home, and kind of wanted to do it my way, and figured that that allowed me a little flexibility in my design and my, you know, because there's a whole lot of stuff in here that are, like I said, is not done in other places, and you know, but part of that is why I believe people are drawn to it, is that it doesn't feel like any place they've been before.
Right. Yeah, it looks fabulous.
Thank you. I hope to see it in person soon.
Mm-hmm. Yep. See, my wife's over here saying, I want to go.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do it for our 47th anniversary.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which is coming up. We've been around together for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I've had people with their 50th anniversary, and they were thinking, what are we ever going to do that's something new together? And there's still options for that. So you can still try to do something new, and even if you've been together for a lifetime.
That's very cool. Randy, what do you think, fella?
I'm going to check it out. Chrissy, thanks so much for following your dreams here and creating a beautiful space. It looks like. I look forward to seeing it in person.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to having you.